All right. Yeah, I was actually very surprised with the amount of people who wanted me to review this series. I remember making the post about it on the YouTube community tab a few days ago, and it got a lot of likes and a lot of comments. So, yeah, I posted on Instagram as well, but here we are. This is my kind of like my reaction, so to speak, for the 8 episode season 1 series on Netflix called Dad, Stop Embarrassing Me. So don't think this is me going to be talking about every single episode. That's not really what I'm here for. This is pretty much saying, hey, I decided to sit down, watch this new series, just give my thoughts on it, and, let me know your thoughts if you've already seen it. And if you are curious about the show, well, Jeremy, I want to hear what you think, and then that could probably determine whether or not I should see it myself. What are my thoughts? I'm sorry, but that's literally it. Meh. So go ahead and take a moment to hit this like button. I'd really appreciate it. Hit the thumbs up button to show you like the video. Hit subscribe. Hit the bell notification icon and select all. That way you don't miss out whenever I post new content to the channel. And finally, follow me on social media. Links are in the description below. Let me put it this way. The first episode, it took a lot to get through because I felt like the first episode, like within the first few minutes, let me just put a disclaimer out there. I'm always happy to see black actors and actresses working. That's something I want to put out there off the rip. It's just that when you see Jamie Foxx, David Allen Greer, you're expecting to see some, oh, damn, this is going to be amazing content because these are in living color alumni. Jamie Foxx, and what was it last week? There was almost like a war on Twitter, where some people were saying, debating between Jamie Foxx and Will Smith, who's like the better, basically who's the, more talented person, like multi-talented, black, pillar in, entertainment, music and acting and movies and TV, yada, yada, yada. And let's talk about the first episode in general. Like, I'm not going to review it, but I just want to talk about the first episode. I did feel a bit uncomfortable because, like, Linnell was, what's her name? Sheila. She was like a therapist. The first episode was, black people don't go to therapy. And, she was under the impression that, Brian, Jamie's character, and daughter, Sasha, they were, intimate. Even when it's like, that's my dad. It's like, oh, it's not uncommon for young things to call older man daddy. It's like, I felt like, okay, this joke kind of went on a little bit too longer than it should have been. But then we got into the trope of the teenage character who, is sassy, disrespectful, and she's like the millennial who understands pop culture as opposed to the older character she's surrounded by. And I just felt like, there are a lot of cutaways to the fourth wall where a character would talk to the audience and whatnot. And I think for me, it's like seeing Jamie Foxx in a show like this, it just felt off because of the fact that we've seen him in so much better than this. Don't get me wrong. Believe it or not, the show actually got better as the season, as I went through the episodes. Like the first one, it was like, okay. But then as time went on, once like episode 5, episode 7, like, okay, the show is okay. It is not the worst thing I've ever seen. It's just that when you have these high profile names attached to it, you just expect more. I just feel like when I look at, a lot of the, let me just take a moment. I have the IMDb and Wikipedia pulled up. I want to pull up like the writers for some of these episodes because I feel like this is a common thing in a lot of shows like this where you have a lot of black talent, but you might have, white writers as opposed to, black people who understand. Let's see. Yeah, it seems like the episodes, yeah, there were a lot of different people writing on the show. Jamie wrote on a couple episodes, but then you have like a couple black women, a few white people. Yeah, it just felt like this show was one that I guess you could say was supposed to be written to appeal to everyone. And it has a certain charm to it, but at the same time, I felt something was off. it's like, okay, first of all, Heather, aka Stacy, aka Marcy from If Loving You Is Wrong, is on here. She did great. I'm not saying that she was bad. No. And I'm not saying that she was great because, oh my God, I love If Loving You Is Wrong, which is a Tyler Perry show, which is a show I review here on the channel, so I'm biased. No, she did good. I think it's because I'm just focusing more on like Jamie Foxx's character. David Alan Grier was great. It's just that they really didn't give him a lot to work with. But what he did show up, he brought, the humor, no doubt about that. But I guess it's just because when you're so used to seeing someone at like, top tier content, unless you count the Amazing Spider-Man 2, I know Electro, just know, even though I'm pretty sure it's been confirmed he's supposed to be back in that role for the Spider-Man Far From Home or No Way Home. So I just feel like there are better shows out there. And here's the thing. The show, it was filmed in California, but it takes place in Atlanta. And then when I remembered that, I'm like, I know why this show feels a bit off to me. It's because of the fact that this literally reminds me of a Tyler Perry show. Like, a 30-minute comedy show, like, The House of Pain season 9 or Assisted Living or The Pains. A show that's kind of painful to go through because the jokes really don't land, or there might be a chuckle here and there, but they're too far, they're too spread out. And I remember in episode 1 when the daughter, Sasha, she was mad at Brian because he kind of skipped out on their sushi. See, I don't eat sushi. Yeah, sushi. Their dinner, because he had to like impress some business partners, because basically Sasha is Brian's daughter. She moved from Chicago to Atlanta because her mom died. Brian, he's a single father and a businessman based in Atlanta. He inherited his mother's cosmetic company known as Babe Cosmetic. He's kind of like a player. He has, girls like every single episode. And another thing is, he plays a lot of different characters, like the Reverend of the Church. He plays Cadillac Calvin. Brian, he plays his own uncle. Rusty, a bartender. It's like it's almost like he's Eddie Murphy or Tyler Perry portraying a bunch of different characters. And the thing about it is, it's almost like a living color-esque thing where he's playing multiple roles. But the thing is, these roles are done so much better in a lot of his earlier projects, so it just feels a bit off seeing him do this stuff now. And when I say a Tyler Perry production, that's what it feels like, because some of the jokes are like, okay, how long are we going to stay on this joke? Or, you got the laugh track in the background and everything. So I just feel like this show, it's not the worst thing I've ever watched. I mean, the other characters are okay. What's his name? Manny. He's the handyman. He was Ernie from George Lopez, that show, which I feel like we all know. He lost a lot of weight. Then you got a few ensemble characters. Jack A is in here as Elizabeth, Pop's sister and Brian's aunt. I love seeing her on screen again. She did better in here than she was given material in The Pains. I mean, I really don't know what else to say about the show. It just feels like... It just feels very generic. It feels very safe, It just doesn't have that same level of, slap your knee comedy. It feels like, I feel like at best you'll get maybe a chuckle or two per episode, but that might come only from Pops, David Alan Grier's character. Everything else just feels so basic, It's just because we've seen so many other shows like this, but done better. And it's just a shame, because I did watch a few episodes of, what was that show called? Family Reunion on Netflix. And it's kind of the same thing, where you have these very talented black, actors and actresses, but the material they're giving seems so dry. And like I said, it's just like a Tyler Perry thing. I wouldn't say it's as bad as the Tyler Perry comedies where the dialogue is so repetitive, but at the same time, it's like you're watching this show and it's like, ew, that joke was really meant to land. I just feel like it's because there's so many pop culture references that feel outdated, even though the show takes place in 2021. I mean, I will admit, maybe I'm getting old, because the daughter Sasha, she was using some jargon or dialogue in regards to terminology that even I wasn't familiar with. Hell, I didn't even know what a simp was until last week when I looked it up, and I'm like, oh wow, okay, I'm definitely getting old, about to hit 30, and it's definitely beginning to show. But Yeah, if there's a season 2, like, I don't really know how long this season was. I know it's 8 episodes. I don't know if this was like, oh, this is season 1, part 1, or season 1's only 8 episodes, but then season 2 is going to be longer. Nah, I think I'm good. Like, I don't think I'll watch the show anymore. Like I said, it does tackle some interesting elements. Like, I think it was like episode 6 or 7 when the daughter gets racially profiled by the police. It does have some heart in there. I mean, like I said, it does get a little bit better as the season progresses. But like I said, I just rather, watch In Living Color or find the Jamie Foxx show, which I think is on BET Plus, the entire series. But let me know your thoughts. I know some people said it was okay. Other people said they loved it. And like I said, hey, it's all. I mean, it's all you. It's all what you think. I just feel like I've seen better. That's pretty much the safest way to answer the question. But, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. We just live in such a weird time now where you see these, these talented people who have been in like top tier projects, but to see them in a project like this that just feels so bland, I feel is very off-putting to me. But there we go. And as always, guys, if you want to donate to the channel, feel free to do so on PayPal or Cash App. And with that being said, I will talk to you soon.